Maria. Thank you for coming for this Reiki Talk. I'm so glad you could join me and reflect on your experience with the Intuitive Alchemy, which is this extended Advanced Reiki course that I give every year. So we met through sound healing. We're both lover of the sound, really, both lover of crystal singing bowls. And we briefly met, I'm not sure when it was, but around COVID time.
That's when we connected at Banyan Books. You're the sound healer there, so we made a connection, and you're so generous with your time and sharing information and really encouraging. So that's how we first were introduced. So when my friend Anna invited me to join her to your program, I was like, I know Fleur. So then we got to know each other on such a deeper level when I signed up for the Reiki program with my friend Anna. So that was really lovely.
Yes, and now you're way further on your journey through energy and sound, and you have this beautiful place for healing, restoration. You have so many sound healing instruments. I love coming to your event. It's really a great place if people want to receive the sound, but you're doing so much more than just sound baths. So I will put your contact information.
Sound healing was really the start of me exploring supporting myself and my nervous system and on my healing journey. So it started with sound, then it flowed into Reiki, and then women's circles and different workshops and education. And what's really amazing is how I see how you have been connected to me along my journey. And now that I'm further along, we are actually like really close. We have similar interests. So it's like really easy to stay connected. It's beautiful. I really appreciate how I've grown so much when I got connected more in community and mentorship and just seeing how much support I really needed outside of the traditional models. That's like what I love sharing with people is like, I didn't know about Reiki. I didn't understand energy healing. Like this was all so new to me. And all I knew was our traditional medical system, counseling, talk therapy, and it just wasn't working for me. And I think what I really loved about when I connected with you is you were talking about being HSP, highly sensitive, calming my nervous system. So the education I received in understanding somatic work, body work, energy work was really what I found worked so well to help calm my nervous system so that I could heal. And it was all about creating safer spaces. So that's what I'm focusing now as a healer too, in supporting people in community, is creating safer spaces, specifically with sound, to help gather people in community, to build relationships and getting out of isolation, really.
And it's so needed. We had many conversations on this subject. As a sensitive person, it's all about coming back to your body. The fact that we are so trained to be into the mind, so that you're looking at your life from an intellectual perspective, and how we can very easily forget that we are here in this beautiful body incarnated on earth. And so on a regular basis, connecting with highly sensitive people, empath, light worker, and coach, healer in the general sense, it seems that we all have a need for restoring the nervous system, but you don't know what you don't know. And it was interesting that for this Reiki journey, you were the Reiki buddy, right?
Yeah.
So in this course, when you join, you can invite a friend, and that's touch into what you were talking about: community, about accountability, support, feeling safe, and how bringing your loved one into the journey can make such a difference.
What was so interesting is my friend reached out and said, I have this opportunity. Reiki was not on my radar. I was not interested in taking Reiki, but I'm like, oh, well, this is kind of cool that you're inviting me. Sure, I'd like to do this with you. And I didn't realize how much I needed it, but it was so great. And it allowed me to see my friend on a continual basis. Like we carved out 3 hours a week to practice and, do the online training together. So I actually don't see her as much anymore because we're not doing the Reiki training and I miss that. But it was so nourishing for my soul in so many ways. And it wasn't just learning something new, like left brain focused. It taught me how to get into my body, how to feel into my body. And it was so gentle. And all of the learnings stay with me today in my practice, in how I support myself and how I support clients. It was really foundational for helping me do deeper work on myself and also be able to show up better for people. I really enjoyed it and leveling up with you too, because you have the different courses. So it's like, okay, now that we have, level 1, level 2, level 3, and then revisiting it and doing the reattunement is so beneficial because I have so much going on. I need to get back into the practice. I needed the community support. And also, when you gather people, we all have similar interests and we communicate in the same way too. So, hearing their stories is so great in my learning and understanding myself because we like, oh, yeah, I can relate to that. And I didn't even realize. And I'm just making different connections. And it's so helpful. I really love signing up for programs because then I can dedicate that time and really focus and be accountable because I'm not going to do it on my own. So I love the community that you've created.
It's such like a great support, and as a feeler of the world, processing a lot of our own emotion, but also the emotion of others, the emotion of
Mhm.
your the family unit. It's bring a lot of awareness to what's going on, right? Because most people in the highly sensitive spectrum feel overwhelmed, depleted. There is a sense of exhaustion that is real, but like that doesn't happen in one day. This is the accumulation of being on overdrive and being like those little heads floating around, not paying attention to our body and our needs. The community that is built around the Reiki course and like further, with the Reiki retreat and these kind of events, all the people are caretaker. They might be coach or acupuncture or doctor, nurses, massage therapist, even hairdresser, which is like a profession that we don't realize, but they do a lot for us, right? And mothers taking care of everybody around and totally forgetting about themselves. How can you give when your cup is empty? And this is the old narrative. We haven't really learned to take care of ourselves, to listen to our need, to even decipher what is needed.
I
Yeah.
really love the length of your program because there's so much spaciousness and time and building trust and relationships and just the accountability to integrating that learning. Because your content, there's a lot of information. Like, this isn't a get your Reiki level 2 in 2 days. Like, how does that even work with other programs? It's just like you need to practice, you need the real world experience, you need to talk about the experiences and hear others. Like, it is such an in depth program, which means that you truly embody this learning at the end of it.
Yeah, thank you for saying that because it's really my intention. I've been teaching Reiki since 2014. That's really something that I love. This is not complicated. I can teach adults, I can teach children. And what I've noticed with adults, we all want to do the step right and not forgetting anything. And, we're quite stuck into this place But what I've noticed again and again before I create this extended course is people really enjoying the experience of the workshop, but not taking it further in their life.
The other part of the learning process, like with your teaching style, that you're slowly giving us information, not overwhelming our nervous system that's already overwhelmed. So we shut it off, but you're introducing new concepts and then we're trying them. You're more like a guide as opposed to like the textbook teacher. Like it's experiential. So I found in the practice sessions with your guidance, we would be kind of directed to go in this direction, but then you're also allowing so much space for us to feel into our own intuitive learning experience and feeling it. Because I noticed that in level 1, I didn't understand where we were going, but I started to feel into it. And that was the magic when I connected. It's like, oh, this is weird. It feels like, this is happening in my body. And I didn't understand that because I didn't have the knowledge, but I was feeling it first. And that was really cool.
Yeah, that's such a great point because it's experiential. Even if I give you the course and materials for you to be able to comprehend it from an intellectual perspective, it's always such a joy for me when people start to experience things in their body, the tingling, the twitching. And as you know, there is this development of the intuition opening. We can see that we've been using it already. We're energetic people, all of us. We are using it without knowing it. And so once you have a sense, you start to get so in tune with what is actually aligned with your vibration. And I think it's the real power of this teaching is the fact that yes, there is Reiki, but there is all what you learn to actually use it in your life beyond the traditional sessions that you can give to yourself, or you can give to your other, or you can receive. Um, there is like an aspect in energy that people don't really realize in modern life, like the
Mm-hmm.
magic of energy and vibration.
What I was really surprised about was how amazing the experience was trading experiences with other students and doing remote sessions. So, like, I thought because I would practice with my friend in person, I'm like, how's this going to work over Zoom or, just doing a long distance session? That's never going to work. And just going through that experiment and practice with other people, it was like, wow, I actually like this better. And it totally worked. And you'd feel things and you would be so connected, even though we were so far away. And so that made me a huge believer in understanding energy work.
That's the beauty of actually practicing.
Once you feel it and you experience it, then you get it. It's just like this veil lifted.
Yes. And you realize that we're all different energetically. And as you get in touch with energy, your own energy, the energy of others, there is this aspect that I really, really love. You can give 10 sessions to one person and like you go deep, like you have this healing process of expansion, contraction, shading the layer. Reiki is a nurturing practice, a very soft process, and you can go very deep with one person. And also, in parallel to that, once you have a community, you can Reiki each other from week to week. You actually experience like different energetic profiles and you get a sense to what's possible because like we all have our own stories and all of that is transcribed into our energetic blueprint, and so that's really fascinating. So you go way beyond the Reiki protocol and you start to listen to your own intuition, which I think it's really fantastic to be able to do that as a practitioner. you get to support people, but this is so surreal that you need to practice it.
The beautiful part of the Reiki training, or like starting to explore Reiki, is that everyone has this ability to connect on this deep spiritual level, and this like feeling, just if you think of itself as a self practice and feeling into your body, feeling your life force energy, connecting with your own ability to heal yourself, your power center, like even if it's all you ever do is your own personal Reiki practice, like you don't have to practice with your family or friends or clients. Like just do the Reiki practice for yourself. Start there. And how everyone has this connection. They have intuition, they have this deeper spiritual side, and we're all just so disconnected and fragmented in this broken world. So, like, from a healing perspective, it's like, let's just explore how we can use this to heal ourselves, for us to come back into balance. Don't even think about serving others. Like, let's just care for ourselves, nourish ourselves. And then once we are rebalanced, we'll have that energy to share and give and support others. But it's so important for the world to experience this kind of teaching.
Yeah, my intention would be to have in every family a Reiki practitioner,
Mm-hmm.
to have parents that put their kids to bed and in their night routine being like, let's just breathe and let's just feel the energy.
Yeah. And it's just it gives you the language to, like, with my son, you're right, like at night, or if he's not feeling well, or there's pain in his body, or he's feeling like he's getting sick, I'll be like, hey, do you want to do some Reiki? And he's always so open to it. And just to normalize this way of living and experiencing the world, connecting. And it's been so helpful. And even in at work, someone's like, oh, my back is really hurting or what. I'm like, oh, do you want me to do some Reiki? Like, can't hurt in trying. And we'll literally spend 5 minutes, less, not probably not even 5 minutes. I'm just like doing what I can. And then you see their body kind of shifts. I'm not even touching him. And he's like, oh, it's feeling better. And then the other day, this girl, she arrived. We were doing a meditation together. She's like, oh, today my throat is hurting, like as they're doing like a little check-in. And at the end of this 20-minute meditation, she's like, oh, I noticed that tension in my throat and my sore throat is gone. It's just like so cool once you start working in this field more. So, and it's so applicable. Like, everyone I've ever asked has been open to receiving. And at the end of the day, even if they don't believe in it, it's not going to hurt them. So why not? Why not try? You have nothing to lose.
Oh, yeah. And so there is always this great conversation, right? About like energy healing is so subtle. Like, is it placebo? You know, and I really believe in the power of placebo, like really. And you can see the pharmaceutical are believing in it. So like there is something there, right? It's been studied and you know, so there is something. But when you start Reikiing very young children, when you start giving a session to animals, when you start, you know, like putting through experiment, right? Like in the course, I said, if you want to do that, you take two little plants that are the same, you know, and you Reiki one,
I
right?
still plan from 2020, the Reiki plant. When I'm working with clients, some I know like they're not going to be open to Reiki. That's a little too much for them, but they're willing to explore sound. Okay, so we try that. Or maybe I need to use different language that they're open to. Like, can I pray for you? We're building trust, we're building safety. Okay, we go as far as they are open to going. And then as they start trusting, their body starts opening and relaxing. And then they have the ability to receive more. So it's so beautiful. And I feel that like in the Reiki training, it's like I can now feel in ways I could not connect with before.
Yeah, thank you so much. I always appreciate our talk. Thank you so
Well,
much.
so much for being one of my first mentors and just someone that even before we knew each other, I really looked up to as a leader in community as far as sound healing. You have so much wisdom and knowledge to share, and you're so generous with your time. I just really love the community that you're building, and I'm so glad that we've become friends and you're a really important person in my healing journey. So thank
And
you.
so are you.
I look forward to your new offerings too. I'm really excited about your future work.
Yeah, something more mystical. I will tell
Yes.
you everything about it, but I'm very excited too.
I love how there's like no end to learning. So just like you're further ahead on your healing journey and your education. So it's just like you can go be the front runner, test it all out. I'm trailing behind.
Yes, I love learning. I will never stop, for
Yeah.
sure. Thank you so much.
Bye.